let's talk about a grime rapper from London, England.
London town, Skepta, big team.
Ignorance is Bliss. Follow up to 2016's Konnichiwa.
Yep.
Where did Skepta come from, man?
Well, he's been around a long time. He's 36, but he was in like groups and stuff before he was solo. So like, if you were in on that grime scene, you know about Skepta a long ass time. But I feel like even for us in the the US, like we've known of Skepta for a very long time too. But
I feel like this album particularly has gotten a lot of buzz though, and I don't remember hearing as much about Konnichiwa 2016. It seems like his profile has risen some.
Yeah, well, check out our video about Drake being a culture vulture. We talk about Drake's influence on popularizing grime music here in the States, and whether you have a problem with that or not, it did happen. And Skepta is one of the first people he really started to big up. And I mean, on Konnichiwa, and Konnichiwa honestly is like heralded as like a grime touchstone like of this decade, and that album fucking rules. And Shutdown, of course, his biggest hit. From that, in the beginning, you hear Drake in his South London accent, man's being marquee with the head talk, trust me, daddy, like that weird Drake sample. And since then, obviously, Skepta has been on Drake albums. He was on Praise the Lord, A$AP Rocky last year. Like he's kind of been closing that barrier between UK rap, US rap, and just making it just more rap, right? But you're right. There has been more energy here about this album. And I think part of that is because Konnichiwa was so well received, and people that did know about it understood that Skepta had truly gotten past the corny early 2010s era of grime, where grime wasn't that respected over here. And like, I feel like he's kind of, it's still very much grime music, obviously. And Skepta himself is still very much himself on this Ignorance is Bliss. I mean, the very workman-like bars and these very peculiar beats that really stand out in the age of trap. But because he's more famous now, and he has more notable records that people can point to, and also, frankly, because other grime rappers are big as well, like Stormzy and Octavian and all that, I just think there's just much more buzz about what's coming out of the UK right now. And also helps that the album is good. So, there we are.
Yeah, it is good. And I think what I enjoyed most about it, and I'm not a huge Skepta head, is I felt like, even though I don't know if I'm going to be revisiting these songs a ton, it like changed up throughout the album for me, and no one song really sounded the same as the last. And I think I enjoyed just hearing the variety on here. And Skepta, I don't know if it's like just the way he flows. I don't know if it's his voice, but something about it just seems like really fun to listen to. And like, you just kind of like bob your head along to it, and it feels like a party. Like you're just kind of like moving all of a sudden. It's great.
He makes the UK accent just sound so cool. Yeah. Like I'm going through it. Like, just, no matter what he says, it just sounds better because he's saying it as a Londoner. It's just cool.
Yeah, but his voice too is like the way you just said, like I'm going through it. Like I don't know how he gets like certain like ranges, but it just sounds like, okay, like this is a guy like who is gonna be like, I don't know, in a football like hoodlum or something like that, whatever they're called over there. It's a fun album. Yeah, exactly. A lot of tracks. It's like you can see in the picture you got behind you on the screen. What songs or what did you most enjoy from this album?
Yeah, so the first two singles, I think they both came out at the same time. Bullet from a Gun and Grease Mode, first two tracks on the album. When I heard them as singles, I'm like, all right, this is solid, this is Skepta. But then once I listened to the album, I was like, oh, fuck. These songs actually are awesome. I really like Bullet from a Gun. And Grease Mode, I think, because it has that feature on there, and because the video is so bonkers, I really like those tracks. But then even like, What Do You Mean? When you have this more R&B chorus, then you have Skepta ride and flow with that with his workman, his really solid verses. I feel like he always has solid verses, and even if he might be retreading the same ground lyrically, like a lot of this on this album is now how he's just totally made it now. He's kind of like Logic now. He's like, let me open up my closet, man. All these new things in there, like we get it. Like he's rich as fuck and he's successful, but because his verses sound so good, and because most of the beats that I think he produced almost everything, because they sound so cool because they're grime beats,
Mhm.
um, it just makes the song stand out more. I really like going through it as well. Same old story. Pure Water, much better than the Migos Pure Water song from earlier this year. Um, even WizKid popping up at the end. Nice to hear back from him post One Dance. Yeah, I like a lot of these tracks. I feel like there's some fun deep cuts on here, and it's not as good as Konnichiwa. Like, Konnichiwa truly stands out as like a pillar of grime, but for Skepta being in his post blow up current fame status, it's I think it more than meets the appetite, which is all you can ask for a guy who's been in the game a long time.
Yeah, and check out. We'll have a couple, or at least one of his songs on our playlist again. Nostalgia Best of 2019.